Thank you both for sharing your experiences. We can open the floor for question and answer if anybody has any questions to pose to Christina or Michel.
Well, actually, I'll say one thing while you guys are discussing or thinking about questions. One thing about America that was really interesting when you're thinking about Palestinian cinema and where it's going is that when we made the movie, as I said, it was hard to raise financing out of Hollywood. And there is a tradition of European financiers financing and producing Palestinian filmmakers, like Hani Abu Assad, who came from the Netherlands, were heavily involved in his film. But there isn't so much that tradition that I know in North America. And that was something that we were trying to do, was to say to Americans and Canadians and North Americans, you have to invest in these stories. You need to put your money into these stories. And I remember when we made the film, we were interviewed by an American smaller magazine. And the person who was interviewing me, and they interviewed me and Shireen separately. And she said to me, yes, but don't you think that it's, you made a very political film. Were you concerned about being so daring and so political? And I said, well, at the heart of it is it's about a mother, it's about a woman, and in that sense, we're really just telling about an experience of immigration. And yes, and she said, well, by the very nature of the fact that she's Palestinian, it makes it taboo. And I remember Shireen and I separately answered in the same way. And we just said, if by uttering the word Palestinian or the fact that they're Palestinian makes this taboo, then you have to re-examine, what you're thinking and what you're doing, because there are a people, and these people have a story, and it's us, and this is our story, and it's different from what Michel made because we were born and raised in Canada or the U.S. But this is our culture, and for me, I found it very bizarre to hear her say that. Just the very fact that that we're Palestinian makes us taboo. And I think that by having young filmmakers come out of North America, who are part of the diaspora, who are Palestinian Americans, telling their stories is really important, because I think it has to come into the North American marketplace.
I just want to compliment your choice for the star. She's really appropriate for the position. And I'm just wondering, how did you choose her? Did you have choices, or just was the only choice? I would like to hear about your selection criteria.
Well, the lead, the woman who played Mona in our film, her name is Nasreen Faour, and she's actually from Haifa, and she does theater and lives and works out of Haifa. And Shireen went on a 6-month casting tour of the Middle East and did a ton of auditions. She went to LA, New York, we looked in Toronto, and then she went on to, I think it was like Lebanon, and she was in Israel, Palestine. And in actual fact, we couldn't really find anyone, and we were very scared. And at the end of the day, we had a casting director based in Ramallah in Jerusalem, who's actually, she's an actress herself, and she said to Shireen, I have a woman who you should meet. And so when Shireen met Nasreen and she walked in the door, it was just the right match. And when I saw her audition tape, I just was really pleased, because we knew we found our Mona.
The gentleman, or the woman in the back? I can't see, I'm sorry.
Here? Yes, I was wondering if you could talk either a little bit about the filmmakers who are, Palestinian filmmakers who are living in the West Bank or Gaza or within Israel itself right now, and whether there are productions sort of in the works right now.
Comment ça fonctionne la production?
No, like, are there filmmakers living in Palestine who are making movies? There are.
There are, yes.
There are, actually. Yeah.
Now you have something like 100 Palestinian directors. Now because the technology changed and it's more easy to make a film. It's more easy to make a film, and everybody can make it something look like a film. But in video or something like that. But I think it's a very important opportunities to continue to make, in Gaza, we cannot make Hollywood in Gaza. In the West Bank, the life is not easy. Cinema is the art of a big towns. We need a big towns. It's impossible to work we can go to film in Gaza or in Nazareth or in Ramallah, where we want, but where after a few weeks we must go to a big city where there are a cinema industry. Donc, there are no money to produce films. I think the first time film produced with all the money, Palestinian money, is my last film, Zindiq. We make a auto production. This is the first time we try to make. But if we want to, to produce a film is very expensive. We can make something look like a film, but if we want to make really films, professional films, I think we need to $500,000, the minimum. With you don't pay everybody, or you pay just a little or something like that. Cinema is industry. It's not to tell stories. We need technician. We need infrastructure, as you know, our society, everybody want to be or president or the delegate of God. In the cinema, they want to be directors, and impossible to find people. They want to be a good cameraman, a good sound engineer or something like that. But I think it's a step. Because what's happening now, the cinema help the people to start to understand the cinema languages, to have a passion of cinema, to to elargir the circuit of people. They start to know that we need a industry. But I don't think it's a good place. Palestine cannot be the center of the movie in the Middle East. Now we need the Israeli industry. Maybe if the borders open, maybe it will be Beirut or Cairo or something like that. But I'm sure that the creativity dans la jeunesse palestinienne,
in the Palestinian youth,
I think it's more big than in another countries. It's just because the repression is so strong. The perspective, there are no future, no horizon, and the imaginary and help us to open all the doors, to open all the borders, and to have really a harmony between the humiliation and the repression and the dignity human, our dignity human. I think we need this creativity.